Well, hello, everybody. We welcome you to this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Thera Martin Milling, and I'm glad to be back with you for a new year of 2017. Happy New Year, everybody. Peace and blessings and prosperity in 2017. Today on the program, we're going to shine the spotlight on a children's book fair, the only one of its kind, I believe, in the whole nation, now observing its 25th anniversary, and it's all possible because of an organization called the Literary Cafe and a woman by the name of Vanesse Lloyd-Sgambati. She'll be along with us today on the show with two outstanding children's authors. Well, one an illustrator for children's books and the other an author of children's books. So we'll tell the story of the Literary Cafe and the upcoming Children's Book Fair. And then before we close out of the program today, you know we got to be helpful to our community. And we're going to talk about job opportunities and job training, thanks to Michael Robinson coming to us by way of Temple University. Stay along for the ride. We'll be back in just a moment. We are back. Here we go with our program talking about the African American Children's Book Fair. Give me the full name, Vanesse, and welcome.
Well, the African American Children's Book Project sponsors the African American Children's Book Fair, and you are correct. It is the oldest and largest single-day event for African American children in the country. We've been around for 25 years, a quarter of a century, celebrating reading. Our mantra is, a book opens up a world of opportunities. Because, you know, children who read outside of their normal schoolroom coursework are more inclined to be more productive citizens of our city. And I tell people all the time that curl up with a book. You can escape into it. I love cookbooks, and I don't cook. But when I read a cookbook, I feel like I'm smoking.
Yeah. And I love to read. I've been an avid reader since I was a little girl, and so books, that is my thing. And over the years, thanks to you, probably half of the books in my home library, because you sent outstanding authors my way over the years, here and there, at different radio programs that I hosted. So thank you for all of that. But now, tell us about this book fair that's coming back for year 2017, and it will be right here in Philadelphia again.
Yes, it will be here in Philadelphia at the Community College of Philadelphia. It is the oldest and largest in the nation, primarily because there's a need and a demand for books that reflect images of our children. And I always say to people when I talk about the African American Children's Book Fair, it is not only for African American children, it is for all children. The more we know about each other, the better we coexist as citizens in this great nation of ours. And the book fair has the best and the brightest. And again, people say the best and the brightest. There are so many award-winning authors and illustrators. It is like the All-Stars, the Grammys, the Emmys, and the Oscars all rolled into one. In fact, this year, the person who won the best illustrated book in the American Library Association's radar, Javaka Steptoe, is going to be there. So it is an opportunity for people who are interested in children's books to come out and meet them. And you'll meet some of the other wonderful authors and illustrators who will be presented that day at the book fair.
And here's one of our outstanding illustrators right here, Mr. E.B. Lewis.
B. Lewis, yes.
Thank you for coming in. We appreciate you so much. Tell our viewing audience, how did you get into book illustration for children?
Well, it's a long story, but in the little time that I have to tell that, basically it's come because I actually started out as a fine artist. I'm still a fine artist. I still work and paint and show and have gallery shows and museum shows and what have you. But an agent found me, located me, contacted me over the phone and said, I represent authors and illustrators of kids' books. And I want to know if you're interested in coming out and trying your hand at it. And my initial reaction was no, until I went out and realized that I did some research, and I realized that some of the best artwork in the country is being done in kids' books today.
That's awesome.
And so I said, I rethought this, and I want to do it. And so that's 70 books ago.
70 books ago?
70 books ago,
wow.
Yeah. So
that's outstanding. So there is hope, because I'm always hearing people say, oh, you're an artist, you're going to be starving. I don't want to hear that. I want to believe that creative people can be blessed and sustain themselves and make money and or do extremely well.
Well,
like
it's
you.
following the passion, you know, basically it's about that. I mean, if you're going to, whatever it is that you set your mind to, and it's something that was a God gift, and as I look at it, it's a gift from God, and it's, whether or not I'm making money at it or not, you know, I have to do it, it's who I am.
Yeah. So your advice to young up and coming artists who are, you know, drawing on this, drawing on that, they may want to do children's illustrations, they may be doing some kind of fine artwork, but you open the window, tell them what they need to know.
They need to work. They need to pursue it by opening and getting sketchbooks and filling sketchbooks up and draw. I mean, if you want to be a writer, you need to write. If you want to be an artist, you need to paint and draw. When I say artist, I mean a visual artist.
Yes.
If you want to play music, you need to play it. So it's one of those kind of things that requires action and to do it. I teach at the University of the Arts and the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts, and students come in all the time, and they want to become this artist that they've been thinking about all their lives.
Yes.
But you know, the question is, how much do you draw? How much do you love it?
Yes.
Do you eat it? Do you sleep it?
Do you find that there's still some students perhaps, or young people maybe, who come your way and they have an attitude of, I want to make it overnight. I want to be making $150,000 tomorrow, and you're just graduating from college today?
No, that's it's the time we live in, you know, immediate gratification. And then unfortunately it requires anything that's worth doing or worth getting is worth doing and spending the time to do it. And so you just got to slow down, you know, slow down and take the time and understand it's an uphill battle, but it's an enjoyable one.
Okay.
And I wake up every day with, you know, dealing with how little talent I have. I struggle with that, you know, because that's what keeps me moving to the next level, to the next rung.
So do authors come to you on occasion and say, I've got this wonderful book, I need an illustrator, and you have to read the book first before you get your ideas, or how does that work?
It doesn't work that way. Although authors do come to me on a regular basis and want me to illustrate their book, but it really comes through the publishing house.
Okay.
The publisher is the one that you pursue. If you're a writer and you want to come into this industry, you actually need to go and produce your book, you know, present it to a publisher, which is a difficult process, but not impossible. And then once you do that, they find the illustrator. The illustrator is then contacted and says, look, we have a manuscript that might fit you perfectly. Well, I want you to take a look at it.
That's amazing.
You know what else is amazing? That often is the case, the illustrator and the author never even talk, for example, or even meet each other. We have Elizabeth Zunin and Vonda Michelle Nelson, who wrote and illustrated a book called Don't Call Me Grandma. They're meeting for the first time at the African American Children's Book Fair. And NPR called that one of the best children's books of 2016. So it's interesting, and he's so modest. He didn't mention that his book was selected one of 10 children's best illustrated book by the New York Times.
Wow, that is impressive.
Well, the book fair is impressive. When I
Book
say
fair
we
is
have the
impressive.
best
Yes,
and the brightest
yes.
at this event, we're talking about major stars and the opportunity for children to go to a free event and to sit and talk with him. He'll be there, waiting, receiving, and interacting with the children. And I think that's the fun part about this book fair, is that people who participate are so receptive to sharing their experiences with the people who attend the event.
And you told them how long this has been going on, right?
I told them how long it's been going on, but the other fun part is that the book fair is also an opportunity to get information on what's currently happening in the industry. So when you arrive at the book fair, we have NBC 10 will be giving away books to, while supplies last, to children who attend NBC 10 and Telemundo, to children who attend the book from preschool to young adults. We have a lot of corporate partners like Wells Fargo, Health Partners, Planned Health Partners Foundation. They'll also be giving away books to people who attend the event. And as well as a host of other corporate partners who do things to give back to the community. If you're going to be there, you got to be there in a big way, in a literary way.
I love it. I love it.
And of course, they'll be making presentations. We've got raffles, games, prizes, and workshops.
The date, the time.
The date is Saturday, February the 4th from 1 to 4 p.m. We extended an hour, and I don't know if I'm going to survive that extra hour. I will probably be lying on the ground. This is the first time.
I love it.
So you're just walking around as the illustrators and authors, whether or not they were able to survive
Mr.
that
Lewis,
time.
I thank you for coming in to share with
Thanks
us
for
just
the
a
invitation.
tidbit about what you're doing as an illustrating author for children's books, amongst the other great things you're doing. And we thank you. You stay along with us because we're going to come back and meet another one of the authors who's going to be at your big event on February the 4th. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment.
Right.
We've all seen stories of conflict that ended with peace. We've seen stories of hunger end in abundance. We've seen stories of sickness end in healing. We see stories of fear, despair, and poverty, but they can end with courage, hope, and love. With you. Together, with God's love, we are greater than hardship in the world. When we're united, we can overcome adversity and make a lasting difference for those who need it most. Be a part of writing a story that's greater than poverty and help communities give children hope for a brighter future. Learn how at worldvision.org.
Hello once again, everybody, as we continue with this edition of News You Can Use. I'm so glad that Vanesse Lloyd-Sgambati is still by my side. She is the founder, the owner of the Literary Cafe. And we've got an author with us of children's books. Miss Kendall, thank you for being here. Christine Kendall, to be exact.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, hey, I'm thrilled. And we were also thrilled with our first segment and meeting that wonderful illustrator. Now, tell us a little bit more real quick about the Literary Cafe, because I want people to understand not only do you do this wonderful thing to uplift children and to make books available for children of all races, but you help authors. You put authors on the map.
Well, some people call me a book czarina, and others the literary diva. I founded a company 25 years ago called the Literary Media and Publishing Consultant. And I do everything from soup to nuts. We can help you acquisition books, we can help you discover authors, we can help you if you decide that, hey, I want a new library in my school. We can do all of those things, as well as the publicity and marketing. And so I founded this company. I'd worked for the Oprah Winfrey Show, I'd worked for KYW, and I just wasn't fitting in wherever I went. So I said, you know what, girl, you need to find your own job and find your own passion. And that's exactly what I did. And one of the activities is called the Literary Cafe, which recreates the Harlem cafes of the 30s. And it's a traveling smorgasbord of literary talent. We've had some A-listers from Al Green to Isaac Hayes, Vernon Jordan, Tavis Smiley, the list, Cornel West. The list is endless of the A-level people who have come to Philadelphia at my behest to participate in reading and signings, because I really truly believe that a book opens up a world of opportunities. And when I reflect on the African American Children's Book Fair, I was thinking about a young lady 2 years ago who walked up to me in all the hustle and bustle of the book fair, and she said, Miss Vanesse, I'm bringing 2 books that I got signed a few years ago. And I thought, oh, well, how wonderful. And in fact, one of them was I Love My Hair, which is a book written by E.B. Lewis about celebrating hair, African American young women's hair. And I said, oh, well, go right over there and meet him. She said, I just wanted to share this with you. She said, when I got these books, my family was homeless, and we lived in a shelter, and we went from place to place, and this was the only thing I owned. She said, I'm now in college, and I wanted to thank you. She said, because these books opened up a world of opportunities. And I just stood there stunned, and she just kept moving. And I thought to myself, in 25 years, every time I do this event, I meet parents who were attendees when they were
Yes,
children,
yes.
and they talk about the love
That's so
and joy of
special.
reading that was nurtured at this book fair.
That is so
because we
special.
are about getting a child to read.
I
If
love
you like mysteries and I like thrillers, I'm going to give you a mystery to read. And we need to begin to do that with our children.
Yes.
And that's what we do at our book fair, because we do sell books. Child can walk up and see all these wonderful books
yeah.
and decide what they like, not what we think they should
I
read.
love it. I love it. Christine, let's hear from you for a minute or two.
Oh,
I understand that somebody really encouraged you and pushed you along the way.
Absolutely. My story is just such graciousness and attention from other people in the industry. It's wonderful. I didn't even know that I could write a novel. I was going to write children's picture books, but I happened to go to a writing conference and I met the wonderful Andrea Davis Pinckney, who took me by the hand and said, you are a novelist, you have a story to tell, and I'm going to counsel you, I'm going to coach you, I'm going to help you do just that. And so 3 years later, I actually had managed to write a novel. And I didn't even know that I could do that, but she saw something in me and just encouraged me.
That's a blessing too. When you have a mentor and somebody that sort of, pushed you along
Absolutely,
a little bit, that
right.
is just what some of us actually need. So what did it feel like once you got that first book under the belt?
Oh my goodness, it's still unbelievable because I was inspired by a photograph that I found of a young boy on a horse, and it just touched my heart. And Andrea said to me, go ahead, tell that story and write it from the heart. And that's just what I did. So now the story is out there in the world, and I can't believe that it's been embraced so warmly. And so it's just wonderful. And speaking about Vanesse's Book Festival, I've been there several times as a consumer, but I never dreamt that I would now be there as an author. I'm so thrilled and
That is
excited
so
about
exciting.
that, to
That
be on the
really
other
is.
side of the table.
Yeah. Well, we hope all of your books sell out when February the 4th gets here. Give us a name.
Riding Chance.
Yes, Riding Chance.
And she's nominated for an NAACP Image Award, her first book. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that she wins.
Thank you.
That's major.
That is major.
Yeah. Now, what else would you want people to know about the Literary Cafe and or about the upcoming book fair?
Well, they can reach us at 215-878-BOOK. And I want people to know we've got a lot of fun stuff for the children to do. I like to use the word stuff. Pico has a literary village. We have author who's going to teach kids how to knit. There's going to be some bookmaking, all kinds of fun workshops for the kids. And of course, we have the reading circle. And I can't express how much corporate partnership, people who understand that reading a book is something that should be a joy.
Yes.
It shouldn't be something you stress a kid out with. And with all the technology that we have, believe it or not, people still read and buy books. And so I'm encouraging people to come out on that day to meet all of the wonderful authors and illustrators, come out and buy some books, get lots of freebies.
Yeah. Good.
You won't leave empty-handed.
Okay.
And of course, as always, a book opens up a world of opportunities.
Absolutely, and that's what I love so much about reading. So now you're working on your next book.
Absolutely,
already.
yes, right.
All right. What can we look forward to?
My first book was about a little boy. I think my next protagonist is going to be a young girl. I don't actually know what the story is going to be yet, but it's going to be set in Philadelphia again.
I love stories that are set
Thera.
in Philadelphia. That's so special.
Name her Thera.
Right.
All right. Well, I want to thank you and congratulations
Thank
to
you
you
so
and
much.
lots of future success to you. People can stay in touch with the Literary Cafe and all the other great work that you're doing year-round by logging onto your website.
The African American Children's Book Project.org, or you can call 215-878-BOOK and find out all the activities. We've got some great adult things coming up, and we have some wonderful locations in and around cultural institutions and restaurants. So get your book on.
All right, I heard that. Now, before we go, one last thing. For those who are dreaming of writing, who want to be like her, Miss Kendall, what advice would you give them real quick?
If someone wants to write a book, I say do your research first and foremost. And sometimes it's easier than you think. Go to a bookstore, find out, read everything you can on how to write a book. Then go back home and start listing the chapters. Before you start tackling, I'm going to do chapter 1, chapter 2. List the chapters.
Okay.
And then you need to get a literary agent. That's probably the hardest thing. She has been blessed. But find yourself a literary agent And once you've got that, you're on your road to success.
All right, sounds good to me. I thank you ladies so much. I thank your illustrator for being with us in the first segment. And I'm just excited about February the 4th getting here so we can come out and enjoy the book fair. I've got 4 grandchildren now, and 3 of them are young enough that they will love it. They will absolutely love it. So thank you for being on my show. Appreciate you.
Thank
Love
you.
much.
Love
All
you
right,
too.
love you too. Thank you. We're going to keep it moving as we go forward. Our last segment on today's show, we got to talk about jobs and where the jobs are, as well as where is the job training. Mike Robinson will tell us. Stay with us.
Drownings are the #1 cause of accidental death for young children. Simple safety steps are the best way to prevent these tragedies. Make sure kids learn how to swim. Designate an adult water watcher to watch kids in and around water. Save the phone calls and texts for when the kids are out of the water. Properly fence all pools with fences at least 4 feet high and with self-closing, self-latching gates. When above-ground pools aren't in use, remove the ladders. When pools aren't in use, cover them. Teach kids to stay away from drains. And if a child is missing, check the pool or spa first. Consider the steps you take, then add a few more, because you never know which pool safety step will save a life. Until it does. Simple steps save lives. To learn some new ones, visit poolsafely.gov.
We are back, and as promised in our last segment, I'm so happy to have you, Rev.
Thank you.
Good to see you, sir. Michael Robinson is here from Temple University, and we thank you for being with us at LaSalle University to talk about jobs, because people need to know where the jobs are and or the job training. So you got it.
We have the largest law enforcement job fair coming up in May. And then following that 2 weeks later, we have the largest job fair in the city of Philadelphia that we host happening the 2 weeks afterwards. And so these are 2 major events that we would love for the Philadelphia community as well as the tri-state area to come out and support. We usually draw at minimum at the annual neighborhood job fair as minimum 2,000–3,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah, and we have usually upwards of about 90 to 91 different employers representing entry-level opportunity as well as executive opportunities. Yeah.
Yes, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's a real job fair.
Yes.
I did a job fair with my colleagues in North Philadelphia just before the holidays started in November at Zion Baptist Church, and we had about 110 people who came through that day, and I was like, I was a little disappointed. I need to work with the big shots like you guys to get
But they were served.
Yes,
so
they were
it wasn't
served.
a waste.
They were served.
They were served.
Yes. So now you're doing a job training kind of a situation coming up?
Every semester during the fall and winter, we host monthly workshops at Temple University that are free for any job seeker. We know that as an employer, we're one of Philadelphia's largest employers, Temple University.
Yes.
And when we're reviewing applications, I'm one of the directors in human resources. Quite often we see people who are talented, but maybe they have a weak resume. Maybe they have a strong resume, but a weak interview. And so we offer these monthly workshops that deal with resume writing, job search strategies, interviewing skills. And we host these workshops so that we can help upscale people's soft skills.
Yes, yes. And you know, some people who've been out of the work field for a while, or people like me who stayed at one job forever. Like I was 26 years at WDAS. And so, you know, you get a little rusty just with the whole process of how to interview.
Yeah, and it also helps cushion the blow for people who've been working a long time and they've been let go through these layoffs, and they need a place to go where they're going to be nurtured, where they're going to be dealt with in a very sympathetic way, because for some people it's a mourning experience. They're literally mourning the loss of a job.
I know.
And oftentimes it just kind of throws them a kilter. So hosting these monthly workshops is a buffer for those types of individuals as well.
Now, and the training, these job training workshops, they're on the campus?
They're on Temple's
which I think
campus.
Is a plus.
They're on Temple's campus at 15th, 15th and Cecil B. Moore. If anybody would like specific address information, they can call me at the university. But we host it at our community center, and people come in. We bring in industry experts to speak on topics that I mentioned a moment ago, and they go through the skills training. And at the end of every workshop, we always provide job listings at Temple, as well as job listings around the city.
How's your success rate?
Oh, we do well. Right now at Temple, we have about 8,000 plus employees, and we have about 10% of our entire workforce we've hired from our neighboring community in North Philadelphia. So we've done a phenomenal job.
That sounds good. Anything in particular that people need to know about coming to sign up to pre-register for the job training? It is important that they pre-register. Don't just show up.
They can, but we do prefer that they pre-register, and I'm glad you said that. They can call 215-204-0677. That's my direct number, and I can give them detailed information on the location of these workshops, the dates, and the times.
Okay. What about computer knowledge? Like, I always get amazed when I meet people who say, "Oh, I don't use a computer." I'm like, huh? You know what century you're living in now?
Yeah.
But there are people out here floating around like that.
One of the things that we're noticing is that the older a job seeker gets, the less likely they are to be computer savvy. And so what we do, we refer them out to community partners that we work with, like the OIC, the Comcast Honickman Learning Center, those types of places that provide the computer training for free, or even CareerLink.
Very good, very good. They're a good partner too.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for just sharing, and we want to be able to uplift people who view this program on LaSalle TV, on Comcast 56 or Verizon 36. We just want people to know there are opportunities out here. When people tell me there's no jobs, I say, excuse me, you just haven't looked in the right place yet. There are jobs out here, and I think there's something for everybody, but you got to be determined and focused.
You have to be very diligent. Right now at Temple, we have over 90 jobs open right now.
90 jobs at Temple.
At Temple alone. And so, you know, when you look at that kind of, you know, massive job openings, we're looking.
Yes.
And we're actively looking. So,
but people have got to come with some skills.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're not in the business of fitting, you know, square pegs in round circles. You have to have the specific skill set we're looking for. But if not at Temple, these workshops will help you find opportunities elsewhere.
Okay, please give us some information on where people can find you after today.
Yes, 215-204-0677, that's my number, or my email is mike.robinson@temple.edu.
All right, phone number one more time.
215-204-0677.
That's what's up.
Thank
you, Rev.
so
I
much.
appreciate you. That's it for this edition of News You Can Use. Everybody have a great day ahead. Remember, have an attitude of gratitude. It's going to be all right. Take care.